My Life in Letters. We're really excited today to have Dave Arek on the phone. You in Baltimore right now, Dave?
Yes, sir.
Man, I got to just take a second to thank you for taking time out to slow everything down, to get on the phone with me and to do this interview thing. It's pretty important to me, and it's turning out that it's important to other people, that they hear these stories that we all have to tell. Something I didn't say to you before we started recording, and I believe it, is that if we don't try to document these little stories, they'll just be forgotten forever. And, a lot of the cool stuff that people are doing now, I think it kind of happens because of some of the stuff we did as kids. So
I totally agree.
So we'll start pretty early, and I think my first question for you is, if you can recall or tell us about your first experience with letters, and in any way, in grade school, just handwriting or whatever it was, if there was something that stands out letter-wise where you were like, whoa, letters are powerful.
Wow. Well, as a kid, skateboarding, riding bikes and shit, I was probably about 13, skateboarding. Jeff Kendall, awesome skateboard, kind of at the time to me was like graffiti-ish,
Yeah.
That Jeff Kendall skateboard deck with the graffiti type of font. But prior to that, like I said, I was about 13 and just a kid skateboarding and shit. And I ran into a friend that was at the time a mutual friend of Jace's. And we were scribbling on shit, markers, writing. Zap 2 was my first tag. I was 13. It was 86. Terrible. Other than spray can art or subway art, I should say, that was my first, view at any kind of graffiti.
It was Zep 2, Z-E-P?
Zap. Like you got electrocuted, you got zapped.
Ah, Zap 2. Nice.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was just a scribbly tag that reflects nothing close to what I can right now.
But you were saying, and that was in 86?
I was 13.
Before you could even have known to put together a tag with a number on it, what was your earlier memories of graffiti? How was graffiti introduced to you the very first time?
Man, it may have been just via skateboarding and shit, to be honest with you. That would have to be it. And
so you were in Baltimore. Were you in Baltimore City proper? Where were you?
I was on the outskirts, and with one of, like I said, I met one of Jason's old friends in the past, or acquaintances.
Okay.
I met, and then that's when I met Jason. We started doodling more, and we were writing these crew names. One of them was ANS, our new style. One was GSC, Ghetto Strikes Crew, and there was a third GSG, Gang Style Graffiti. Just some random shit.
Nice.
And of course, I wrote Zap 2. That was my tag, I guess, for a minute. Didn't last long, but that was really it.
And who introduced you to a tag like Zap 2? How did that come about?
You know what? I don't even recall. There was a acquaintance of mine that was an acquaintance. That's how I met Jason. Like I said,
yeah.
This person had I got a real nice hand style at the time, and I just remember going behind the shopping center with him, and we had I guess it was probably spray can art, and there was this rappel piece, and we didn't know any better. And we're duplicating this rappel piece on the back of this shopping center. And he was just a total thief. Dude had 9.5 fingers. He cut half of his thumb off. Fucking.
Oh, he literally had 9.5 fingers. I thought that was an expression.
Yeah, he cut half his thumb off on the skateboard ramp. But
wow.
Total he would steal anything, everything. But and that's how I met Jace, through him.
Was that was also in 86?
Yeah, that was all around 86. Yeah, and that's kind of what sparked the whole break on anything.
And will you just tell us, what was, because I don't know, what was the scene like in Baltimore in 86 or on the outskirts where you were?
Well, I was very naive. I was probably very naive to the scene. I mean, I remember coming back from baseball games, Orioles games they were up in East Baltimore at the time, Memorial Stadium, and I remember riding on 95 and seeing these Tuffy tags, which was the old early 80s graffiti dude.
Who?
And
Tuffy?
I remember seeing these tags.
Who was he? Tuffy?
Tuffy, Tuffy.
Nice.
just tall, just like real simple print. Like I remember, and there's other tags I just don't remember what they were.
Okay.
Because I saw them, but I couldn't. It was later in life where I realized, oh shit, I was on 95, going towards the city to see a baseball game with my father, whatever, and I just pieced it all together at that point. But I mean, I wasn't aware of the scene at the time, other than there was Shakin' and Ashar. This was all probably late, 86, 87.
Yeah, and
Shakin'.
you said you were 13 and maybe 14.
Yeah.
And were there other kids in your school that were like doing graffiti? Was that common?
At that point, no. Once I got a little older, there were some like friends I skateboarded with that we would write or whatever the hell, and I introduced them to people, whatever, and it just kind of all stemmed from Jace. And then I met this other dude. His name, he wrote Sek, S-E-K. He's this dude from West Baltimore, and I was skateboarding, so he's like, look, at the time I had a semi-R tag. By this time I was writing A-R-E and R, whatever. And it's probably the latter part of the 80s.
Okay.
And he wrote Sek. Well, in Baltimore at the time, if you had this K or this R at the end of your word, something that you could really manipulate as a tag, that K or R could just get real crazy. Kicks and loops and all kind of stuff.
Right.
So when I met him, I'm like, yo, I want a K on the end of my name. And I just threw the K on it. And he was like, and as soon as my tag was semi all right. And he was like, I was like, look, he's like, you teach me kind of like, show me the way skating wise, because he could skate, but he was like, look, but I was better. And flip flop, he had letters, like as far as not tags, but like actual letter structure.
Nice.
I'm like, look, you help me out with an alphabet. Just show me the ropes, and we can make this work. So that's kind of how it kicked off from there.
Did you say that was Sek that told you that?
Yeah, he wrote S-E-K.
Yeah.
West Side dude. That he's still around. Skates. He still skates actually. He doesn't paint anymore. But he's a dude that definitely gave me a taste of actually. We used to here in Baltimore. We have a real immature subway line that kind of goes A to B.
Okay.
But you would always paint the walls along the subway line. And it was probably built back in the 80s. Actually, our subway cars are probably identical to Miami subway cars, I believe.
Okay.
Or is it Atlanta? I'm not sure. I'm whatever. But this line you would paint, and he's the first person to ever paint my first piece, probably 89, maybe early 90, to actually do, other than like bullshit I did behind shopping centers, like my first official piece on the subway line.
Okay.
He took me to do that.
And that what year was that? Was that 87?
If it was 89 or 90, maybe.
Oh, okay. It was even later. And like we're jumping pretty fast, so I want to slow it down a little bit. Like when you went from Zap 2 in 86 to R in 87 or 88.
I'm not sure what year I started writing ARE. It was just at the time it was 86, 87, whatever years in the latter parts of the 80s. It was basically just writing on some shit.
Yeah.
Because at the time it was just all kind of, people were stealing cars and breaking windows, stealing bikes and ski jackets and all kind of random ass shit. So it was just all part of crime.
Yeah, and I think that's what I was trying to get at earlier with that question about like what was the scene like. So because like I think very few people outside of the Baltimore D.C. area like really we don't have much knowledge of the Baltimore scene, and certainly not from like a cultural context, right? So like I'm thinking about 88 or whatever, and I mean I've heard the stories from Jay of like smashing into like storefront windows and just grabbing smash and grabs and all the cars that were being boosted.
I blame him for all this shit. I mean, honestly, it's funny. I was a dumbass kid, probably at this point, maybe 14. I'm in front of some fucking bank with a fucking Sharpie or some shit, Magnum marker, catching a tag, and I get locked up as a fucking dumbass kid. I'm in this like county jail, and I'm looking at I'm in this little like secluded cell, and I'm looking, and here comes Jace. This motherfucker, he got caught on a stolen bike on his way to work. He was, he's probably 3 years older than me.
Okay.
Maybe 2 or 3. So he's on his way to like work on the stone bike. He gets picked up, and I see him, and it's just like, to this day, I'm like, yeah, it's only because of you I'm fucking doing this stuff. Shit.
Yeah, and I mean, God, dude, that guy has stories. We're gonna get Jace on this show. He and I have been talking about it. Actually, before I even started it, he knew about this, and so it'll happen eventually because that dude has.
No, that's awesome.
The uncle has the stories. But so okay.
I told him he needs to do something. He needs to do one of these podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, we'll get him. We'll get him eventually. He's busy. So I just talked to him the other day, and he's just like swamped. But so okay, and you had mentioned a crew, ANS, that started I think with R. What was ANS again? Our New Style. This is all shit that derived from Jace. Like I just kind of like monkey see, monkey do. Yeah, and so did R come out of that Our New Style thing? ARE New
just
Style.
ANS. It was like A.N.S. Our New Style. ARE New Style. Don't ask me where it came from.
But did you take the R that you started writing from that?
You know what? No, I don't even know where. I honestly can't even recall where it came from. Like it's just, I just what? I don't know. I just
and
like
did
the
it, I mean, that's cool if you don't know. That's totally normal. But like, I also wonder, like,
show you a tag to see like my ARE hasn't changed. I mean, like to a certain. I mean, it's evolved, but from when it first was like ARE.
Nice.
And then I just added this whippy ass K on the end after I met that dude Sec.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I need one of those.
And so then it was a wreck. And like, I guess one thing I'm curious about is like, what did it mean to you? Like that name, did it have personal meaning?
Honestly, no significance other than the letter structure of adding that K. I don't even know where ARE came from. I don't recall. Hey, look, maybe it came something to do with that ANS. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just remember when I got that K, it was like a kid getting his license. Like I was like, boom, I'm driving now.
And like,
I'm legal.
I'm curious, were you a Black Book kid before this? Like, were you drawing?
Oh no, I honestly, my first and only Black Book was like in 1990, 91. Which this dude Shaken gave it. He found it at his father's house and gave it back to me. Like the whole actual hardback was gone, and I had a run where I was like sketching and shit. And I just didn't. I don't know if it's like now they call it ADHD. I don't know. I just didn't have I couldn't focus to sketch. Like it was on napkins. It was on just like mail. It was just on random shit.
But what about early on? Like, how were you starting to develop letters? Actually, let me just pull back a little bit because you had mentioned that you had done like that piece behind that shopping center, and you had done other things.
I was there with another dude that kind of like led that crusade, and and that was the first kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, when I met that dude Sec through his cousin Herman, this dude that wrote a bunch of different names like Anger and. He wrote new, and he wrote a bunch of different words, Stek, S-T-E-K, and he wrote a bunch of different words. But I met his cousin, Sek, and that's when it was a trade-off. Like, all right, we can skate, and I'll help you any way I can if you give me like a structured letter alphabet. Help me out.
And so how did that go? Oh, and so before that, like back at that shopping center.
I know I was like talking about like bubble like letters.
Yeah.
I could deal with the tag issue. I got that. I had that rolling for me.
And did you have a nice hand? Did people say early on that they liked your hand style?
My hand style was, of course, immature, but it was, it was I was going in the right direction.
And who were you looking at for that direction? Like, I mean, you had mentioned guys like Tuffy and.
Well, I mean, that was only, as I look back, I realized what I was looking at. But it was like, it was Shaken. There was a Shar, Mask, Zeke, which was, this dude, had K's that would, like, make your head spin. Nice. His hand was just, he was left-handed ever. This dude Maker, this dude Star. I kind of, when I started skating with these dudes on the west side, I was like the only white boy with these dudes skateboarding. And it was just like, but yeah, it was like Maker and Star and
okay.
Zeke and Zeus.
Did you know those guys? Were you already kind of affiliated with other writers?
No, this is all through Sec, and then I met Star, and it just kind of like domino effect, and then you saw these tags, you just didn't know who they were at the time.
Right. Also, I'm curious, in those early years, where were you seeing most of the graph? Where, like, there was like a really wild bus scene in San Francisco in the 80s. What was like the scene?
I was a total toy of nobody or nothing, It's just like skating around, writing on shit. I wasn't, I was trying. And then I remember meeting this dude Zeke, and he's like, he complimented me on my hand style, which was a big compliment for me because this dude had the most illest hand style ever. So it was good to get that compliment, but it was just scribbling and shit. I don't know. I was a skateboarder and scribbling on stuff, and we paint on stuff. It wasn't that serious. It was just fun.
Yeah, and I hear that from a lot of the interviews that I do, that it was like fun. It was fun high school stuff, or it was just like part of life. You know what I mean? But I do wonder, like you've been writing for almost 30 years, and it's like what is it, right, that happened as kids that like got us to do this thing that we have continued to do like into our like deep adulthood? You know what I mean? And like, so I wonder, like, early on it was just fun, but was there more? Could you have envisioned at any point that you would still be doing this now, and that it would be such a big deal?
No, I would have never thought. I mean, just to jump ahead for a quick second, it was just like I painted when I could paint, whatever. And it was like around 94, 95, I just totally stopped cold turkey and went a whole nother route, like fucking 180. This was on some other shit. Mm-hmm. And then I really got back into it like December of 2000. And then since then I've probably painted more and had more fun than I've ever had painting. And I do it just for that. I mean, it's just like, I like to paint every weekend. I got to work Monday through Friday. So,
yeah.
And I got to wake up early as fuck. So I try to get in on the weekend what I can get in. But it's like, if I don't, I don't. It's not like I don't trip. Like, oh shit, I didn't paint a train for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Course.
Like, I don't even. Everything's just taken in stride.
Yeah,
so.
Because now, I mean, like, you're older, and it's like there's nothing to prove. You know what I mean? And so.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a extracurricular activity.
Exactly.
It's like I always associate this, and I've said it before. It's kind of like growing up. I remember my father went golfing on the weekends. He may go on golf trips, but he's kicking it with his buddies, drinking some beers, going golfing. That was his thing.
Yeah.
And I try to, parallel that when I tell people, I'm like, to me, it's the same. It's like I do this to, get my kicks. Like, hey, we go crack a couple beers, we paint some stuff. It's fun. If it's not fun, I can always stop.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
You get frustrated. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You may get frustrated, but like if it becomes like a job, then then it's not fun anymore.
Right. No, totally. And when we were kids, that's like all it was. And also, you're too young to like be afraid of like going to prison or anything, and so it's like, yeah, we were just like, you can take more risks. And so if we can just then jump back, like when you're with SEC and you now are a rec, where were you guys painting? Because had you painted trains yet back in those?
No, not at this point. At this point in the 80s, no.
Because had you said it was around 88, 89 that you really went into a rec, like that's when you got the K, was around 88, 89?
Probably something like 89, 90 or something like somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, at that time we were just painting, the subway line and stuff that was on the west side of Baltimore. Freights wasn't a thing. It wasn't even a thought in that area. It wasn't until, honestly, probably about 1991, I met a friend of mine that I met. This dude writes Ander. And he just made a resurgence. He just came back around.
Nice.
An old good friend of mine that our first freight was probably like around 90 or 91.
Okay.
Floaters and all.
Nice.
It was probably, and that was just us writing on some shit. He lived near a spot that freight's laid up.
Okay.
And I got a picture of it actually.
Dope.
And we painted some shit because it was something to paint. I honestly don't recall knowing it was like a thing to paint trains, other than he lived near these trains and we had paint. It was a surface. And then fast forward a couple years later with Jace coming back from the West Coast and like, hey, trains, we painted, like they're traveling, and we painted them. We had painted them at that time here, and then he caught them in Oakland or the Bay or whatever, and it was like, oh shit, these things moved. And it was still just a surface to paint, whether it was a wall or a train. It wasn't like, we're afraid to paint it. It was just like that.
Right. And I was going to ask about Jay a little bit earlier, because in that like 89, 90 time with Sec, was Jace there? And I don't know if he was Jace yet, and that dude has had some badass tags before he got to Jace.
He was master.
What'd you say?
Jace was master, M-A-S-T-E-R, master.
Yeah, dude, master. That's like one of the best ones, dude. And but so were you writing with Master? Was it like a Rec and Sec and Master? Were you guys going out? 89,
no,
90?
Because at this point, I don't know where the separation came. Where Jace was fucking stealing fucking Maseratis and all kind of crazy shit. And I'm skating. And
also, can I ask you about that real quick? I'm sorry, we'll get back to this, but like the skate culture and the graffiti culture, was that like a natural blend in Baltimore at the time? Were a lot of skaters writing?
I don't know if it was natural or just maybe the circle I was in.
Yeah, so there were a lot of guys skating in your circle and tagging?
I mean, because I'm very obsessive compulsive, so maybe, I don't know if it was just me writing on shit, and then, people around me, we all started writing on shit, and it just kind of like developed our own little thing, but I don't know if it was, I don't know.
What was the kind of like look of y'all's like skater crew? Were you like kind of punk? Was it kind of hip hop? Was it kind of like, what was the kind of like vibe of your crew at that time?
You know what? We listened to everything from rap to fucking, growing up, listening to everything from fucking Ozzy to Iron Maiden to,
were you playing a lot of Ozzy and Iron Maiden when you were bombing in like the 80s, like 88, 89, 90, that time? Were you playing Ozzy and Iron Maiden?
From everything from fucking Kiss, like I had all, the Pink Floyd, The Wall, to everything, it was, I grew up, in an era where it was just everything was going on.
And do you think that, or that music genre, like rock specifically, do you think that influenced your letter styles?
At the time, I don't even think it was I don't think it was like, I listened to so much shit. I don't even think it had an influence on my graffiti, so to speak, because like people I hung with listen to so many different genres of music. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until a little later on where I thought I was like super hip hop or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, you had the super hip hop phase. You were doing them rap letters.
The hip hop phase had nothing to do with my graffiti though. Mm-hmm. My graffiti's never like. I don't think my graffiti ever changed the music I listened to, if that makes any sense.
Interesting. Can you pinpoint anything that did make your style shift that wasn't like graffiti related, but something else?
Graffiti-wise, it was just all... unfortunately, there was no internet then, so everything was influenced just by local stuff. Yeah. Unless you had that IGT Times or you got to see some videograph. Right. Or somebody had a copy of some kind of magazine from fucking Europe or some crazy shit. You didn't have any influence. I was young, so we didn't travel a lot. Yeah. D.C., maybe. Me and the dude Andrew used to go to Philly in the early 90s to cop Shellhead Adidas because, like, there's a spot, we would go to, and it was, like, Shellhead colors that you couldn't even get down there.
Nice. Dope. Who'd you say you were going down to Philly with?
We would go up to Philly.
But you say that was with Cover? Who were you traveling with?
Oh, my buddy Ander. A-N-D-E-R.
Ander, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah. This is all in the early 90s, though, so I'm jumping ahead again.
Well, that's okay, because, you basically said that in 90, you, like, really made that push. Also, was 90 is that when you graduated high school?
So I was supposed to graduate in, like, 1991. Okay. 91 I was supposed to graduate.
Were you bombing, like, at that point as well? Like, was it a focus in high school, or was it more after... You were out of school?
What's that?
Like, were you bombing during high school?
Yeah. I wasn't making no real noise. There's people that I was predominantly on the west side of Baltimore when I did paint, because I'd catch the bus or get my mother to drop me off up on the west side of Baltimore at this bus stop called the State Center. My friend would skateboard down from this neighborhood, street called Whitelock. He'd skateboard down through these alleys. We'd meet up. We'd skateboard back up or go wherever. I wish these alleys weren't buff, because it was like we'd catch tags back and forth, and forth. You know, and there's so many tags that are just like gone that people have never seen from other people. But
also, when you would go to other cities, like when you would go to Philly, would you paint out there?
Nah, it's like my memory sucks, but we would just go up there. His girlfriend would take us up there on just the strength to, and if maybe we caught tags, but it would be marker tags. We never stayed bombing or nothing. We were just up there, and we would just gawk at all the graffiti. You know.
Yeah. Also, like, had you started to meet any DC? You mentioned DC, and so, like, I'm curious if you had started to meet, you know, like the felons or the subs.
Well, of course, from Jace in the early '90s, there was SMK and Cha or High, aka High.
Yeah.
Felon and all those guys.
Yeah.
I met through Jace and me and Jace and Wild, and it just stemmed from, like I said, all from that dude Sec. It was like I was met up with all these West Side dudes, and then from there we were like real curious about this dude Shakin', which was all city through the city several years through different names. He wrote Jam 1 back in like the early '80s, because back in Baltimore they used to have these trash cans that said Jam 1 in. And he got his name, Jam 1, from that.
Nice.
Then he started writing Shakin', and he was everywhere. And I remember us skateboarding down to the southwest side of Baltimore, me and all these black dudes trying to meet this fucking white headbanger-looking dude, Shakin'. And we go around and getting chased out of there by dudes, the white boys with golf clubs and shit. But
nice.
Because it was a predominantly white neighborhood at the time.
Okay.
But and then once I met that dude Shakin', I started painting with him, and I met this dude Carr, which he's like a kind of a secret to Baltimore, because like he didn't paint a whole lot, but like the dude was a style, like he had styles for miles, like black books that would just make your mouth just drop, hit the floor. Like honestly, the dude, anything he put his mind to, whether it be music or art or whatever, he was just fucking ridiculous at. Like, he lives on the West Coast now, but
does he still make art? Does he paint?
He's like a definitely ghost writer of Baltimore. So many people influenced him.
Nice.
I mean, he used to do like I remember like he would do sketches for people. I mean, even after a 5-6 year hiatus for me, I remember coming back and like, I need some sketches, because like this dude was like insane. It'd be like the ghost writer for the illest rapper. Like,
dude, that's
I
sick.
need some fucking hot. I need some verses. like drop me.
So that dude Shakin' would give out outlines, huh?
There was this dude Carr.
Oh, Carr, my bad.
He wrote Carr, and he was like, and I met him through Shakin'.
Okay.
And then, through all these people, everything just came together.
And let me ask you this, like, because you mentioned before that you took a break in '94, but between '92 and '94, like, what was going on with you, like, graph wise? Like, what was happening at that time?
Well, we were painting, the subway line, and then at the time they built this thing that was called the light rail, which is another kind of above ground transit system. It's really lame. It's kind of A to B, okay. But we were, painting walls on that. To kind of go back with these West Sides dude, the first crew I was ever in was TFD, Toughest, Freshest, Deafest, or Too Fucking Deaf.
Sick.
And that was like my first real like Baltimore crew.
Who put you down with them?
It was this dude Maker's crew. He wrote Maker, but that was via my buddy Sec, and it was like me, okay. Sec, Maker, this dude Zeus, and this dude Ever was in the mix as well. And I don't know if he pushed the crew, but he was in the mix.
Okay.
But then, like I said, I wound up meeting Shakin'. Through him, I met Carr, and I met that dude Ander. Our next crew, which was funny, was like 1991, and our crew was 91 Kings.
Nice.
So it was like me, Jace, Ander, Carr, this dude Face, and then kind of after 91 faded away, we were like, yo, we can't be the 91 Kings no more. Like, it's 92.
That's
so
hilarious.
we came up with this crew, DST, which was Don't Sweat the Technique, Dope Death Style Takeover. There was a lot of different meanings.
Yeah. I mean, Jay brought that to Frisco, and I think, I could be mistaken, but was it 92 when Jay came out to the Bay first time?
It was 92 is when DST came, and it was DST 5 at first. It was Arek, Carr, Face, Jace, and Ander. And then from there, other people got put down. And, we were painting a lot at that time, just just different wall spots or, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, and when Jay came out to the Bay, like, had you already been aware of the scene in Frisco when he was, like, deciding to come out west?
It may have been via magazines,
Yeah. Okay, because you were following magazines at that point, like you knew.
Of course, I remember Spy and Dream and a bunch of different people. And then especially once he moved out there, he's sending flicks and flicks. I still got those flicks of just like Oakland Tracks and Psycho City and,
Nice.
And that's just, it's just tons of shit.
That's awesome, dude. That's so cool that you were given that, like, knowledge, because, like, it was still kind of hard, like we said, there were magazines, people were trading flicks, but the internet wasn't really booming yet. It was around, and, like, I think Art Crimes started in 93 or something like that, so, like, it started happening, but, like, that's cool that you got that knowledge. And you had also said that Jay came back and said, hey, people are painting freight. So was it 92 that you said you went into the yard the first time to paint trains?
It was probably somewhere in 92 or 93 when he came back and was like, yo, I've seen trains that we painted in the West, on the West Coast. And it was just like, boom, like a light bulb went off.
Right.
Like, oh, shit, these things move. Like, before it was just us painting another surface.
And can you tell people that don't know, like, what's the access like to freights in the Baltimore area?
Oh, I mean, they were everywhere. I mean, it was not even an issue. I mean, 10, maybe 15 minutes from my mother's house or grandmother's house at the time, there was this yard, and we used to, I remember me, Wild, High, and Jace, and SMK, all, like, we did this and auto rack, and we were just like, it was just like you would just go there and just like burn up every can. And I remember specifically one of the first couple missions, and we'd go to like the DC area too because of Evade and Felon and High.
Cycle was there.
We're out there,
and
I remember painting out there as well, and it's just
And so for you, like in 92, when you first started painting those trains, did it become like, I mean, you said that the light bulb clicked as far as, oh, these things are going to move, but did it also click that like maybe you had some sort of some sort of connection with painting trains more than painting walls? Or was it like purely because they would move that you gravitated towards them?
Jace kind of kicked that off, because other than that, it was just like we paint a train just because it was another surface to paint.
That's right.
It wasn't like, yo.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, we're going to go paint trains tonight. Let's go. I'm a freight train painter, and I'm going to go paint these trains. It was just like, all right, we're painting this wall. Well, shit, look, there's trains laid up right next to this wall we're painting. Let's go scribble on that.
Yeah.
And it probably, I mean, through the 90s, it was just writing on some other shit. Once Jace came back, it was like, yo, let's go to such and such and paint some trains. So, at that time, we painted some trains, but it wasn't as, for me, it's just another surface.
Yeah.
To paint.
And then you said in 94, 95, you took this break.
Yeah, probably around somewhere in 94.
I mean, I just presume that like life just kind of presented itself to you and was like, hey, time for you.
I just went. I took an exit off the highway and was on some other shit, and then.
Yep. And did you say that you didn't touch a can from 94, 95 to 2000?
I didn't touch a can. To the 5-year hiatus or whatever it was, probably the latter part of that time is when I started picking up a can more.
Okay.
If I had a marker, maybe I scribbled on something, but it just wasn't. it just wasn't in the mix. I was just on some other shit.
But I'm interested because, a lot of people, I think, take breaks or whatever they call it. I mean, I did too. But, during that time, for me, I always noticed everything. I feel like if you spend...
I was attentive to what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, if you spend 10 years, 15 years of your life looking at graffiti, I think you're going to notice it for the rest of your life. So even though you're not writing or currently active...
Right. Oh, no, I saw what was going on.
Yeah.
Who was doing what when I was in areas where I could see it, without a doubt.
And you said you would catch tags just on paper and shit, when you were just, in your life.
Still doodling and shit.
Yeah.
And the neighborhoods I was hanging in, I was probably scribbling on shit here and there towards the latter part of my hiatus, because that's when I really started getting back into it. A friend of mine was like, man, the dude shaking had just got home from prison, and it was December 2000. He's like, you should start painting again, man. And honestly, my friend, this dude, he wrote Riker, Riker, Ryker, whatever. He kind of was like, look, I used to go to a sub shop and just hang out with him. And he's like, man, you should start painting. Frank's home. You should, Shakin's home. You should start painting again. And basically, painting this had got me out of some trouble that I probably would have wound up in.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of and then I started painting again every weekend. And
that was
getting all the walls.
That was 2000?
Probably December 2000.
And so that dude, Riker, he was one of the dudes that kind of brought you back? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he just ear hustled me in the back, into painting.
Yeah, and I'm curious. What was your thought there? Was it yeah, it's time. It's been a long time. I've missed it. What was your thinking?
I don't know if just everything aligned. Maybe everything aligned. The sun, the moon, the stars, everything lined up. I don't remember why, but I just found myself hanging out at his sub shop at the time on a regular basis, and he had a mouthpiece on him, so he's talking you should do this, and this person's doing this, and he was kind of emceeing the whole event, so to speak, and I'm doodling, and like I said, when my friend got home from prison, he's like, we just started painting, and again, and
at that point, dude, between the time you took a break and 2000, a lot of things changed, right? My first thought is that paint really changed. All of a sudden in 2000, you had access to better paint and just more paint.
Well, at the time, I was kind of naive to that. So, at the time, it was just Krylon. There was a spot where we could just dollar cans.
Mm.
So it was a bunch of bullshit paint.
Yep.
Krylon, some Rusto, but we were getting 99-cent cans.
So in 2000, 2001, that's what you were still painting with Krylon and Rustos and dollar cans.
Yeah. So we always had this 99-cent fucking hustle. It wasn't even a hustle. You just went in there and paid 99 cents.
Yeah, nice.
You'd buy 100 cans of paint.
Yeah, exactly.
So in the beginning, it was straight up just all that shit.
Hell yeah. Was it good? Were those dollar cans okay? Did you like them?
Oh, it was great. I didn't know any better. It was just you just dealt with the shitty.
Yep.
Some shit was shitty and some stuff was all right.
Yeah,
you
totally.
use cans you probably never even heard of. He was like, oh, this green's dope. And then it was just shitty paint. You just made it work. And then then you're like, oh, well, then there's this good paint out, and it's made for graffiti paint. But
do you remember when you first got your hands on some of that, on some boutique?
I don't recall. Mm-hmm. But for years it was a 99-cent can hustle. You couldn't beat it.
Sure. Yeah. Still can't beat it.
I stopped painting. When I stopped painting, it was Rusto and Krylon, and that was really the bulk of it. You may get some random ass craft store paint that looked cool, but was shitty.
Yeah.
Good colors.
Yeah.
And then it was just all that stuff for the whole time.
And also, in the time that you took a break, the internet really kind of blew up as far as Flickr and YouTube channels with graph on them. I wonder how much the internet played a role.
I still got a Flickr account.
My dude, that's what's up. You post to it?
I still post some new shit occasionally, yeah.
There is the way. You can do that through your Instagram, right? You can send it to your Flickr.
I just went through my Flickr email account that's attached to it and just went through emails for it was for years. It doesn't date back. It was in the 2000s, but it was I just remember all these messages of just I just literally deleted them all. I found it, and I was like, oh, shit.
That's good.
Good
job,
oh,
dude.
I remember chatting with this dude and that dude, and this dude was sending me pictures of this. It was like, that was like the Instagram. You know what I mean?
It was. It absolutely was. And it was good, man. I mean, there was a time when Flickr was gold, you know, and then it just kind of went, well, I mean, it couldn't keep up, I think, with other things like Facebook. But so what I was trying to get at, it was like, how did that play a role in, like, and I want to try to get to the development of, like, your work, you know, because your letters are, like, pretty well refined, you know, and they're dope. I'm just curious when it all started happening and how the internet could have played a role in that, because, like, it's like we can't deny how much influence it has on us when we just see a ton of graph. It doesn't matter how hard you try, you're becoming influenced. You know what I mean? Can you just talk on that a little bit about how maybe the internet played a role in it?
I mean, it was always good to see stuff from from other places, but you know, at this time, like pre-internet, it was like hand style wise, it was always cool that you could recognize where someone was from due to their hand style. And this is like pre-internet, you know, so yeah, I'm going back for a minute. You know, I guess there's MySpace and
right.
12 ounce and Flickr,
yeah,
and all these things that maybe came around, and I don't recall the years. But other than that, it was like us, and prior to my hiatus, Baltimore was just like this place that you pass by going from Philly to DC.
Yeah. Well, and I'm also curious, how did the scene change or train yards change between 92, 93, or no, you said 94 when you quit, to 2000? Was it a big change, or did it feel similar?
I mean, at that time in the 90s, the freight scene here, I mean, honestly, there's probably people that painted freights just because it was something to paint.
Yeah.
But like I said, when Jason in the early 90s kind of, I guess, I don't know, when he noticed that whatever we scribbled on here was on the West Coast, is when things kind of, in my mind, kind of like connected. Like, oh shit, it's bigger than this.
Yep.
I mean, you know, it just, yeah. And then you just were like painting on shit.
And so then in 2000, were you like all gung ho that you were like, oh man, I want to really do this freight thing because I know that these go far, and I just took this long break?
Well, when I took that break, I came back. I was painting all the local wall spots. I ran the whole route of all these like wall spots we have, you know.
Yeah.
Painted all those, and then I started kicking it with these dudes, and they were killing it in the 2000s. These KOS kids that painted freights. It was Mocha and Kerr and Ugly and this dude Sower, and there was a bunch of them. And I started painting with them freights.
Baltimore crew? KOS is from Baltimore?
Yeah, yeah, KOS. They just were painting a lot of freights. And I mean, I remember having this calendar, this is the early 2000s, where I would just kind of like write train or wall, whatever day I painted.
Nice.
I didn't get into how many trains I painted that night, but I would write trains or whatever, freights or whatever. But we would go out in a night. We would go out 3, 4, 5 times a week sometimes once things were going. And now back then, don't get me wrong, you may do 3 people on the right side of a panel. We were doing small pieces.
Right.
You know, you didn't have to do one person on the whole right side of a panel at the time. But we were painting a lot. I bet you, I mean, I was in the hundreds of panels, you know, we would paint. But yeah, I remember like we go out on a Tuesday night. We would hit this spot, do a piece, and we do 2, 3 things a night at times if we went out. So if I had on my calendar Tuesday night I painted, I definitely did more than one thing.
Yeah. And you were doing that was like in the early 2000s, were you going out many times a week?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were going out 3, 4, 5 times a week sometimes, painting trains all over Baltimore. And those dudes really, you know, just going out with them, it was just like boom, we were just going out and out and out. It was a marathon, you know. It wasn't like a numbers thing, but we just got them done.
Yeah,
we just do tons of shit. You know, you may do 2, 3 panels a night, 2, 3 different spots, maybe even.
Yeah, and I mean, when you have a lot of freight yards, you know, it's like, yeah, you might as well. Like, you can keep doing that.
Yeah.
And, you know, something I was trying to get at before about the difference between the train yards, like in the 90s and then in the early 2000s. would you start bumping into heads now because it's a more known thing to be painting trains? Like, were there just was there a lot more writers around?
I mean, you had some people painting, but it wasn't as much of an issue here locally. I mean, you saw other stuff on the lines, but here, I mean, we were kind of like the most people painting shit on trains. I mean, it was a couple handfuls of us, and we were all kind of affiliated to some degree locally. So it really wasn't an issue. And then as time grew on and people went their separate ways, and then everyone, different crews, but it wasn't an issue then. It wasn't until down the line more where it's like now. Back then in the early 2000s, it wasn't an issue.
Correct.
You weren't bumping into people as much.
Okay.
You knew everybody. I mean, now it's like you don't know who you're going to bump into.
Right, of course. And I know for us in the late 90s, early 2000s, like in the freight yards, I mean, you had to watch your back. Like dudes were getting jacked for their paint in Oakland. I wonder.
I think I missed that phase because that was the phase. I think that all started kicking off around here the 5 years I was out, because that's when Wild and Khan and Super and all those dudes were all that shit was kicking off. I missed that whole thing. At that time it was Daver and this dude Medicine and Khan and Super
Eco.
and Wild. All those dudes and Eco were all getting it in, and I missed that whole era when all those dudes were going fucking wild, just whether it's the streets or trains, all those dudes were getting it in.
But I can't remember. Did we meet at that Applied Science show in Baltimore? Did you come to that?
We had to, because I wasn't quite painting, but I was there.
Yeah, so that makes sense. I mean, because that was right around the time that you were making this comeback or about to come back.
I heard about it, and I went, and
Yeah, and that was great, right? Because it was all these BA dudes from the West Coast. We all came out to Baltimore to do a show. And with a bunch of the, BA, IHU guys from DC and Baltimore. And it was great. It was that was so much fun. And it was interesting, too, because, I didn't know a lot of crews that had, kind of two home bases in a way. And BA kind of had this Baltimore-San Francisco thing. And that was unique, at the time. Now there's a lot of crews are kind of more spread out.
Oh, yeah. But I think at the time that was one of the first, I mean, not to toot our own horn, but I think for that era, I think it was maybe one of the, handful of crews that had an East Coast, West Coast presence.
Yeah, I
that
think
early
so.
on.
Yeah, and I like that.
That was that relevant.
And and actually, I'm curious about that. Do you think that played a role, that show, seeing all this kind of diverse new crew coming back? Because actually, when did you get put down in BA? Because at this point, I think you've only told me about TFD, and I know that was earlier. And so, were you KOS as well?
It was when Jace first kicked it off. I mean, I guess that was
92, 93 with Neon. Yeah.
Yeah, 92, 93 is when he kicked it off, and it was me and him, and I may speak out of turn, Felon and High.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there were maybe the first several people,
mm-hmm.
And then, probably Soap and, there was, SMK and Stare, Psycho and all those dudes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the waves of it, but I was definitely around for the first wave. And then he started spreading it, to the West and everything.
And then you're also in NSF. How did that connection happen? Was that also through Jay?
When I started painting again, there was this dude. This dude Jerk. He's BA,
mm-hmm.
but he lived in Pittsburgh for a while, and we were painting as well. And then Nexky and Seek and Riki and all these NSFers from Pittsburgh would come through here in the early 2000s.
Mm.
And don't get me wrong, all these dudes were painting in the time I wasn't painting, but that's when I got, to meet all these dudes. And a lot of the Pittsburgh dudes would come, we'd go back and forth. And, there was a time where Soviet and Rams and these other Pittsburgh dudes that actually lived in Baltimore, but, and we'd all paint, And somewhere along the lines is when I got put down with NSF.
Was it always on trains, or were you guys doing walls together too?
Oh, we did whatever. I mean, we painted whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever there was to paint.
And so then, like, and you always have lived in Baltimore. Did you ever move to D.C. or Pittsburgh, any of those areas?
No, I never. I mean, I've been here forever. I haven't moved anywhere. I've visited, but never.
Yeah, and I mean,
never,
hey, if you're happy, it's like, why go? And like, I'm curious because like, you said before that like you didn't draw. That was before your break. Did you get back to sketching a little bit when you had to like kind of knock the rust off, or did you just keep hitting walls, keep hitting trains?
When I first started painting again, of course I was like intimidated because I hadn't painted in 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily like riding a bike. I mean, my hand style didn't skip a beat. But so I was like, this dude Carr, I was like, yo, you gotta hook me up with some sketches or something, because like I gotta like knock the training wheels off, but I gotta get back. And like this dude was like, like I told you, he was like the ghost writer. Like the dude just had styles. He was really good. Still is really good, but and he would pump out sketches.
But did you say that Carr's he's still writing? He's not.
He still is. He still draws and stuff. I mean,
okay.
He's familyed up and wifed up, and he's up in the Pacific Northwest, and I don't know if he's painting a lot, but he's still drawing.
Does he have an Instagram account?
I believe, he's got one.
I'll have to get that from you later. I'm just curious to see some of the, like maybe he shows some of these old outlines that he used to give out, because that's kind of amazing, dude, to hear of a guy like that people would go to for styles.
I'm telling you, and he was a huge influence. He's definitely like just because like he painted, but he wasn't like something like that dude was all city or like he hit this spot. But he was a dude that always painted, but he was fucking good as shit. Like his sketchbooks would like they blow your mind. You're like, what?
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, I'll be tugging at his like, I need a sketch, and it just kind of like got me kickstarted back.
And so like you would take like a car sketch. Would you like take?
Well, you do a rec sketch for me. I'm like,
that's what I mean. But
sketch.
Carr would give you an erect sketch that you would take with you to a wall or to a freight yard and like put it up.
A wall, definitely a wall in the beginning, and then I started doing freights, and I mean this dude would just like he would bang out like 5 super cool simples, and you just like what the fuck?
Damn, dude, that's sick. So like he would give you
from
5
a bubble letter to like a bubble letter type shit to some like intricate like connection shit. Like on one page he would doodle like 5 little sketches that like literally covered this like a notebook paper, and you like, Jesus Christ. And they would be like your tag. He would do that for you. Yeah.
Dude, that's sick, man. I have not heard of anyone like this. Would you call him a ghostwriter?
Well, I was just like I just said it, kind of like because he's done sketch. I mean, like he would do like do some Adam sketches.
Yeah.
And he'd be just like, boom, 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 and you'd be like, oh shit,
dude, that's fresh. And
like,
then you would take him.
It didn't matter the word.
So
it didn't matter the word. He would rock it and kill it.
When you would go to the wall, would you try to be like real dutiful to like the outline he gave you, or would you flip it and tweak it and make it your own?
I wanted to try to nail it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no different from now where I may do a sketch for someone and someone does a sketch for me. I want to try to make it look as close to them.
Yeah, for sure.
As what they gave me. Except for this time, he was helping me more than I was helping him. It was no fair exchange.
Yeah.
I was, like, gimme, because,
Yeah, well, you needed to get back on your feet. You needed to knock off the dust. And so you did that with Carr's help. And then, like, just like over the years, like, so can you look at a rec piece today and see Carr influence in the style?
All kinds, whether it be Carr or Shaken. Mask, may he rest in peace. From anyone I've ever hung with, I mean, I could, that was some kind of fixture in my life or whatever, had some kind of influence, whether it be like a fill way or a hand style or a way I flare a K or connection between an R and an E. I mean, all that just, is influential to, where I'm at now. I mean, Yeah, I mean,
dude, that was awesome, dude.
Everything.
Like, I can't wait to listen back to what you just said, dude, because, like, I just kind of went on, like, a little visual ride of what you were just saying. Like, it was kind of animating in my mind, just, like, all the things you were just mentioning. Like, and that was really well said. And, like, I think I haven't taken enough time to think about that a flare or a bit or the way you do a corner on a 3D, like the influence, right? Like the history of that thing or the lineage of it goes way back, you know?
I really regret back then not sketching I don't even sketch like that now. I really like doing other people's names. And Wayne, like COD Wayne, whatever, New York Wayne had told me once, like, try to sketch every day, date it, just black and white. You ain't got to do full color pages. And he's like, doing other people's names just helps you flex your own shit. Like, because you're going to do a letter that may be in your name that you're going to do it in a different, you're going to do it in a different order than what you're accustomed to doing.
Mm-hmm.
And probably some of the realest shit that was ever told to me, because depending on your letters, I enjoy doing other people's names because I'll do other sketches. I'm like, damn, why can't I do my own name that looking that good? I guess it's just damn. It's like, so I'm sketching more in the 2000s than I ever did.
That's cool, man.
I got more black books since probably 2000 than I ever did in the 90s.
Yeah.
I probably have like 2 black books from the 90s that are just demolished. Where I'm at 4 or 5 now that are floating around, not full books, but like where I've at least they're mine, where I've sketched and whatever. So I truly enjoy doing other people's names.
Dude, I'm gonna hit you up, man. Now I'm just like dying to see the Adams piece. So the request, maybe I'm making it right here.
I will
dude.
tell you, O's are my weak point.
Oh, really?
But I mean, I can make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, it should be kind of simple because it's just like right in the middle. So it's like you can just make anything to the O because it's just center. You know what I mean? So yeah, so everybody, you just heard it live here that Adam has requested that from a rec, and he said he would do it. I'm like curious, dude, like because all throughout the 2000s, I know you were like really doing it on trains. Has there been for you like in the past 16 years since you came back? Have there been big waves where you were just like, you could feel that you were riding the wave and you were like really painting a lot and it was working out well, and then other times when the wave kind of was over you and you were kind of slow and sluggish or whatever? Like, do you feel those waves in your work?
Well, I mean, like I said, when I started getting back into it in the early 2000s, I was painting a lot, but it was little pieces. I mean, some of them, unfortunately, are still alive. I see him caught. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I mean, but whatever. But it wasn't even a numbers thing. It was just I was painting that much,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't know better. Back then everyone did simple shit. Like the average person wasn't doing like crazy shit. It was like everyone was doing readable, simple panels for the most part.
Yeah.
And you would have it was nothing to have a 6-man end to end. I was talking to it was one of those a dude from one of those Boston cats recently. I don't recall.
Okay.
We were on this Instagram DM just chatting, and it was like we were just talking about how those 6-men end to ends were the shit, and that thing's like a unicorn now.
Yeah.
You can't get 6 people on a train now to save your life.
Well, and actually, it's interesting. You mentioned that earlier because I was curious if like smaller pieces were like a Baltimore thing. Because like my memory, and my memory only goes back to the 90s of Baltimore. It doesn't go further. I feel like they're smaller pieces. I mean, there was like a big wave of that in New York too in the 90s, like FC and FX Productions. Like those pieces were teeny, Like the first time I saw a Cess piece in '94, I was like, it's teeny tiny. I was like really blown away. Was there like a thing about small pieces in Baltimore? Well,
no, because it's funny you said that. Because pre the years you're just talking about. Mm-hmm. Our pieces were big.
Okay.
Or my pieces were big.
Okay.
I mean, I did big pieces,
When you were doing Zap 2, you were doing big Zap 2 pieces?
I mean, I'm 6'2", so, well, no, there's no Zap 2 pieces. Maybe I should do one, but no, like my pieces are like a foot off the ground. I'm 6'2".
Okay.
Within reach of my arm's length. Big pieces.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like, I don't recall the year, and SMK, from DC. You know, he hung out with Clark, and you know, he's ID with all those dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And he, at one time, I just remember he used to do big pieces too. But I remember him, and I don't recall the year, just saying like, you know, like if it's something within your arm's reach, and you know, it's easier to manage. And some people start doing smaller pieces, but nah. Baltimore pieces, like from the 80s, 90s.
So they were big, yeah. Okay, that and that makes sense to me because that's how it was.
Were big.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they were big.
Yeah.
It was trains that once I started painting trains, like, you know, on a consistent basis, that, you know, you're with 5 or 6 people. 5 or 6 people want to get on the train. So
yeah.
It was nothing to have 3 people on each side of the door if you're trying to avoid the door. You know, it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now, I know dudes that are like so fucking like uptight about doing 3 people in a car.
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
just want to.
Get the
Sure.
fuck out of here.
Sure.
Like, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I've took the door many a times just to make a 3-man train work.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
I don't give a shit.
You're pretty active on Instagram. You have like a pretty good following too. When did you, like, how does that play a role in your graph? Because so many people, right? There's just so many feelings about Instagram, right, within the graffiti community and all that. Like, I think it's bullshit that like Instagram killed graffiti and whatever, right? It's like,
well, I can tell you one thing about on the negative. There's people like Webb. There's people that don't have like Cycle. There's people that have like don't have the following that they should if it really means something. Like if followers really meant something, why does Webb not have 50,000 or 100,000 followers? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, why? You know, like why? You know, Cycle may have 10,000 followers, but why doesn't he have 40,000? Or why doesn't Wayne have 40? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where there's people that have like crazy followers. So I think it's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's cool that people like 10,000 people can see your or following you to see your shit.
Yeah.
But I don't think it means anything because I think some people have a following because they do a cool character, but that don't have any history. I mean, come on, why does if I could get on my phone right now and tell you how many followers Webb have, it's probably shameful if followers meant something.
Well,
that dude's like a style fucking guru.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
So and there you go. And like you're like saying, what you're saying is that like people are placing too much importance on followers and too much importance on likes, and that you just don't like. So is it not like do you not view Instagram as like a tool for you to use to like better yourself in some way?
It can be a tool if it's used properly. It's like any other tool in life.
Yeah.
I mean,
so how do you use it?
I mean, hey, look, I'm not a gun at. I mean, a gun can be used wisely, but it can be used really fucking in a shitty way.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think Instagram is very similar. It can lead to some good things, but it's like anything. If it's abused,
yeah, it can be bad. Good. And so how do you use it then? Do you just like chop it up with people and like?
I think it's cool. I just like I mean, everything's, look, no matter whether it's Instagram or whatever, everything's here and now. Everything's right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in this world is now. Kids grow up faster. It's now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everything is now.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram is now. So that piece you painted yesterday is now. The one you did last month is last month.
Yeah. Unless you repost it, and then
Instagram.
If you repost it, then it's now, isn't it?
Everything is instant, this instant.
Yeah, it is. And I was just saying, like, even if you repost a month-old piece, that somehow on Instagram makes it now. Have you noticed that? You know,
exactly.
It's pretty funny.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I think it's got a lot of pluses.
Yeah.
I think some people become a false like profit out of it. But,
sure, of course.
I like though to scroll through, thumbing through it and see what you just did, where if I wasn't in your city, I wouldn't be able to see it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so I do like the now part of it to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the sign of the times. I'm not knocking it. I'm part of it. I'm just, hey, I'm posting something I just painted sometimes as well.
Yep.
It's just how things are now. I mean,
I'm curious, since we're talking about the now, if you look in your crystal ball, dude, because you're older than me, you're wiser than me. Curious, when you look in the crystal ball, what's next for Instagram? What do you think is going to happen to that?
I don't know. I mean, shit. I don't know. I mean,
like, I wonder if it's just going to get too big to handle. It's going to like eat people alive one day, you know? Like, that's my vision of Instagram. It's just going to become too much, dude, and it's going to break.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's kind of like it was. I mean, I was never on Facebook, but like, you know, you had MySpace and you had all this other shit, and then people had Facebook, and then Instagram took over. There'll be something else to take over.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think about that a lot too, about the lack of importance of followers and likes. It's like in a couple of years there probably will be something new. You know?
I mean, what happened to 12-ounce Profit?
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that was like like the Bible of graffiti for years. Like for years, like you would go to your city's thread and be like, "What's going on?" Or you like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Bay Graffiti or New York City or whatever."
Yeah.
When's the last time you were on 12-ounce Profit? Like the web the forum.
A couple years ago when something of mine got put on it. So yeah, you know.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's my point. Like I don't even know my sign in anymore.
Of course, yeah.
But I mean, this thing's changed. So I have a feeling that Instagram is right now, and I mean, maybe they keep evolving it to keep it relevant, doing like they're doing, changing things, live videos. And,
exactly.
You know, so maybe they're they know that it's not going to last, so they're trying to reinvent it on a regular basis. But something's going to take over.
I can't even pretend to know at all what they think.
I couldn't even. I have no clue, because I would have never in a million years told you that I could sit here and film a video of me doing a throw up, and you would see it while I'm doing it.
Yeah, I know. It's true.
I would never have been able to tell you that, X amount of years ago.
And so what about you, dude? Like, as we'll wrap up this interview, like, I'm curious, like, what's coming up and, like, what's next for you?
I tell you, I mean, I just take it as it comes. I mean, everything is fun.
Nice.
You know, whether it's going to St. Louis, hanging out with my BA homies and other friends, like we did this past year, or coming out, going out to LA and hanging out with Con and Jace and Big Five and all those fools. And
I like that, dude. I like that you're saying that you're just going to take it as it comes and you're going to have fun. I think that, like, it's so easy, dude, to get so caught up in shit and we don't have fun, and it's just like an essential part of life. I actually had a teacher a couple of years ago who said she takes on no projects in her private practice that wasn't fun. Like, if it wasn't fun, she was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to like stick with that kind of thinking in my life, because she was like way older than me and looked way younger than me, So I think it keeps you young.
I just think if you're not having fun at this, I mean, being that, the average graffiti writer is not, you're not getting paid to do this per se.
Yeah.
People may make some money doing this and that, but your average person isn't sustaining a lifestyle on graffiti.
Sure.
So if you're not having fun, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
I mean, we can get into all kind of little, reasons why, well, you have this obsessive compulsive disorder and you have addictive personality, blah, 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 blah. But you paint because you would seek some kind of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting that enjoyment out of it, then why do you do it? Like,
And might that be it for you? Because someone told me the other day, an older cat, he was like, I'm just not enjoying it as much anymore, so I think I'm just going to stop. And I said, it's probably good, man. Like, why would you force it? Why would you do something that you don't enjoy? And so
anything you force winds up being a little, like, out of tune.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true, dude. And I think that's a good note to end this interview on, just to not force things. And what I tend to ask a lot of people at the end of this is, like, for you to tell us, for people that are they just came across this, never heard of a rec. How can we find you? What's your Instagram handle, if you have a website, or any other ways that we can see your work?
No, other just Instagram, bragging_always.
You said bragging_always. 2 words?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dude, Dave, man, thanks for spending the time, man. Especially, I know that you're working, and I know you got a lot going on out there, so I really appreciate you being able to stop and
you having me.
Chop it up. Hell yeah, man. Like, like I kind of think about like senior, like Baltimore cats, and you're just like, you're in that list. And so it's like, I've said it before about a couple of other people, it's imperative. I like that word, imperative, that we get certain people on the show.
I'm sorry. I would have been here earlier, but I was kicking it speaking of senior, I was with this dude Stab, which makes me feel he's older than me and
Nice.
more senior in Baltimore than me. And Daver, another friend of mine, this dude Motor, and
you said Arbor was on the wall?
And Arbor.
Nice.
They were painting some walls, so I was kicking it with them.
Bunch of legends right there.
When your time thing came up, it was like, all right, I'm going to go kick it with these dudes for a minute. And so it worked out.
Nice.
I'm glad everything worked out.
Yeah, I'm stoked too, dude. And thanks for being here. And thank you guys for listening. Again, this was another episode of My Life in Letters. We're talking with Dave Arek today straight from Baltimore. Dave, dude, thanks again. Really appreciate you spending the time.
Thanks for having me, brother. Have a good one, man.
You too, man. Thanks. Peace.